Hey guys, Ender or FBI open up back with the second to last equipment guide. I feel like starting this video off with a boom, so bear with me for just a minute. Nope, nope, there we go. Look at these nice Russian ships right here. Da-da-da. Now it's very simple to beat this boss. What you do is that you go up to them, and then you press the torpedo button. So now with that crappy segue out of the way, this channel's growth has been absolutely explosive recently. And yes, that's a pun, and no, I am not sorry. We've just passed 1,000 subscribers, and I honestly can't thank you guys enough for your incredible support. Just 11 days ago, this channel only had 18 subscribers. Jump back to present time, and look where the channel stands today. This could only be possible due to your unwavering support and positive feedback in the comments. It really means a lot to me to know that my guides are helping so many people out with a game that I truly enjoy playing. Now with that corny speech out of the way, I hope you people are ready for my favorite ship class to cover, the Destroyers. Now as you can tell from this, you can see that they can dish out some pretty insane damage, while obviously keeping in mind that the daily boss takes more torpedo damage, but nevertheless, the Destroyers are an incredibly diverse ship class that can be used for all content if equipped properly. So without further ado, let's start the equipment guide for them. Let me just go back to the main menu here. Nope. There we go. There's our favorite destroyer right there. Now for a quick rundown of destroyers as I move this over. There are two different options depending on what type of destroyer you are building. There is a firepower and main gun focus type, such as Laffy over here, who emphasizes their damage primarily on their main guns to deal out the majority of their DPS. Now the other option here is the torpedo-focused type, such as Ayanami over here, who is the Torp Queen herself. And this is just a meme, I just wanted to use that for the daily. Don't actually put 2 rainbow torps on her unless you want to. But anyway, the other type is the torpedo-focused type, and they get most of their damage from torpedoes. Now if you're not sure of what type your destroyer is, just go and check their stats. If a destroyer has skills that increase their firepower, reload, main gun crit rate, or something of that nature, they are most likely firepower reliant. As you can see, she upgrades Laffy over here as an upgrade to her firepower and reload, and then she gets an extra reload bonus right here from her retrofit skill. If a destroyer has skills that buff their torpedoes in some way, or usually have a low firepower, as you can see here, 79 compared to 164, and also this torpedo buff skill, they are most likely torpedo reliant like Ayanami. Now of course there are some exceptions to this part, and this will be covered in the later parts of the video. Now getting to the first part, the main gun. Now a destroyer's main gun, if they are firepower reliant, they would want the highest firepower destroyer gun. So some destroyers such as Nimi can also equip a light cruiser gun as well, but do not use them as they have a much lower damage capability than DD guns. So let me quickly go on over to Nimi over here. And see, as you can see, she can definitely put on some light cruiser guns, but please do stick with the destroyer guns right here. So the best in slot for a firepower focused destroyer like Laffy or someone like Tashkent over here, I'll use for an example, will be both the exact same, once again a tie between the two best event guns, the Italian single 138.6mm main gun and the the Russian twin 130mm main gun. These are obviously the best because they have the highest damage potential out of all of them, and definitely make sure that you're using one of these on the firepower destroyer if you do have one of them. Now if you do not have one of them, then you can always rock the classic twin 127mm Mark 12 dual gun due to its very solid performance that is not as good as the two event guns listed above, but it is next in line for the best. You can find the twin 127mm from, once again for the third time, the Eagle Union purple and gold boxes, stage 5-1, 5-1, and we'll do this really quickly this time. 5-1, 8-1, 10-3, and finally 11-1. Now if your destroyer Now if your destroyer is torpedo reliant, like Ayanami or Yukikaze over here, they would want a fast firing gun, such as this one, to proc either their skill or their all-out assault / EX barrage. What is an all-out assault or EX barrage, some of you may ask? Well, if you go onto the limit break tab, you can see it for yourself. Play this, and then you will see what their EX barrage / all-out assault is. Now, Yukikaze is special because she shoots out torpedoes during this, which contributes to an incredible amount of her damage. Other people that are notable for their EX barrage / all-out assault is Eldridge over here, with her amazingly cool purple fireball barrage. Now you would want to have a fast firing but lower damage one, because their firepower is not really the main source of damage from them, it's more of their torpedo stat. So in essence you would want a faster firing gun to go and proc their skill rate more and charge up their all-out assault more. Now the best in slot for this would obviously be the twin 100mm Type 98 AA gun, because it is both fast firing, as you can see 0.73, compared to a normal gun such as the twin, which is 1.16, which is definitely a lot slower. And along with that, the twin 100mm also has a very good shield breaking capability, so this is very, very good for a fast firing destroyer. Also, the situationally best one, if you do not have this gold twin 100mm, is the blue, actually, 76mm AA gun. Now, this is the fastest fire rate gun in the game for a destroyer, and it has the best chance to proc skills and is the fastest to charge up the all-out assault / EX barrage with only 0.50 seconds per shot. Now, notable people that would use this gun is Ayanami Retro for her torpedo activation skill, and Eldridge for her EX barrage. So basically, the one difference between the twin 100mm and the 76mm over here is that this one is better overall due to its shield breaking capabilities, but is also slightly slower. This one will barely have any shield break, but will get those skills out and EX barrages out the fastest. You can find these 76mm AA guns in the blue and purple US boxes, as well as stage 3-3. As we can go all the way back here for a second. Ooh, all the way back. Sorry if that was like a little bit rough to the eyes. Yep, right there. Now moving on to the next slot for a nice destroyer is their very important torpedo stat. As long as they are torpedo focused, of course. If they do have a torpedo focus and are not firepower focused, then make sure you have the best possible torpedo that you can have on them, because that will be their main source of damage. So the firepower focused destroyers can have whatever, it's not really going to matter that much, but the only criteria for using multiple destroyers in a fleet is that it is encouraged to make them equip different torpedoes if you're playing on auto. So as you can see, I'm using different torpedoes for each one of them, except for Yukikaze. This is because this will maximize the chance of hitting more enemies, as the reload speeds will be different and the torpedoes will fire at different speeds. Now obviously, of course, the Rainbow Magnet torpedo is going to be the best for auto if you do have it. This is found in the past event. Next up for the best for autoplay is the quintuple 533mm. It has a slower... oh no. It has good damage, but you can't really go wrong with it. This is basically your standard gold performance torpedo gun. You can find this in the US boxes, Royal Navy boxes, and Japanese boxes, as well as Stage 7-2. Now, the third option for auto is obviously the Iron Blood magnetic torpedoes. These are also good for auto, but they have a slower reload time and less damage. So if you're once again okay with trading off reload and damage for the tracking capability that it offers, go ahead and use this for auto. Now honorable mention once again to the purple quadruple 533mm, which is actually just the quadruple version of this quintuple again. As you can see, they have the exact same damage, it's just that this one has 4, and it has a faster reload as well. Now for manual play, the best is obviously the quadruple 610mm, because it has every single torpedo does a lot more damage, and it travels a lot faster. So if you are manually playing, as you can see, this one has more damage. But if you do miss one of these torpedoes, since there are only 4 instead of 5, missing them will cause a drastic reduction of DPS. You can find the quadruple 610mm in Japanese boxes, stages 6-4, 8-2, 10-4, 11-2, and 12-2. Now moving on to the third slot is the anti-air guns. Now once again, they are the same for every ship class. Destroyers don't really have that much high AA, with the highest being Sims Retrofit, Hammond Retrofit, and Bailey Retrofit, all equaling at an AA stat of only 262, so it's not really too big of a deal. Put any of these golden guns on it. As always, the one suggestion I always have for you is the twin 113mm AA gun, also known as the Golden Roomba, once again found in the Royal Navy boxes, as well as stage 7-2 and 11-4. And if you have no gold AA guns, the best purples are the 127mm mounted gun and the purple Roomba. The purple Roomba being right here. You can find the mounted gun from Sakura Empire boxes, stage 4-4 and 12-4. Now moving on to the last slot, as you can tell from Ayanami, the best for a torpedo-focused destroyer is the Type 93 Pure Oxygen Torpedo. Now, if this is a firepower focused destroyer instead, you can completely skip this, as torpedoes are not their main source of DPS. Now, if you do have a torpedo focused destroyer, this is definitely the best of slot, because their primary form of DPS is through their torpedoes. Now, boosting this by an additional 100 is definitely going to increase their overall damage. The next best for destroyers are actually HP gears, because they have the lowest HP in the entire game, but the highest evasion stat. So the next best up for second place, or first place for all destroyers, is repair tools, which a very generous 500 HP it provides, and it also has that nice skill that gives you an extra little bit of HP back. Now, you can also put the fire extinguisher down for the same reason. It gives you a very moderate HP boost, and this skill right here is very, very useful, especially on later maps, because it significantly reduces the fire damage taken. For the math people that want exact statistics, fire damage in this game is dealt over 5 ticks, over 15 seconds, with 3 seconds per tick. The extinguisher gets rid of 2 ticks of damage out of the 5, and then for the remaining 3 ticks, it decreases the damage taken by 20%. Now there is a special mention to Pearl's Tears. This item right here you can get from the memorabilia thing, from limit breaking a couple of destroyers. You can get the Pearl's Tears. Is the exact same stats as the repair toolkit. It is more expensive to upgrade, but the thing is, the skill will only be used basically in PvP, because you do not want your destroyer to die. Now, moving on to the exceptions category is first of all Kitakaze, because Kitakaze over here is a firepower focused destroyer, but unlike most firepower focused destroyers, he has a very low firepower. As you can see, Tashkent is another firepower focused destroyer with 168. Now Kitakaze only has 75. This is also partially due because I don't have her maxed out, but you can get the overall idea. Now, this firepower is so low because of her main gun +1, which is a thing that basically means that she shoots twice the amount of bullets, which compensates for the lack of firepower. So if you doubled her firepower, it would roughly be equal to a regular firepower focused destroyer. Now this is actually a very, very beneficial thing to have this layout instead of the traditional double firepower thing, because this means that her firepower boosting effects from the guns and the aux gears will have a much more significant effect on her. So the best setup for her is very specific, with the main gun being this twin 100mm for this Kitakaze Horizon Splitter skill, which basically lets her ignore armor types and deal very consistent damage to any armor type, regardless of who they are. And then next up is the Quintuple Torpedo, because you would want her second skill, the Lotus Torpedoes, which actually are, if you need 10 torpedoes that are not from the skill to land in order to trigger this skill once again. So having a quintuple will maximize your chance of proccing that skill. Now the best AA gun is the only one that gives additional firepower, which is the very interesting 134mm twin high angle gun, which gives an additional 15%, I mean not 15%, 15 extra firepower to your Kitakaze over here. You can get that one from the Fight on Royal Maids event, which I don't know if there's going to be a rerun, but if you do have it, definitely be sure to equip it on Kitakaze. Now, for aux gears, the very important one is the Intel Report Arctic Stronghold, that is from the Russian event. That gives you a massive 20 firepower extra, which will definitely almost double Kitakaze's damage output. As you can see, this anti-air gun and the Arctic Stronghold Intel Report are almost doubling her firepower, which will massively increase her damage. The last slot for aux gears is up to you. I have this very nice Kizuna Eye thing because it gives you an extra piece of luck, and I don't have her Destiny whatever thing yet because it didn't max out her PR yet. So this will be helpful. You can also put an auto loader for a very slight firepower boost, but it is nowhere near as significant as the other two listed already. As you can see, this is only 7 firepower, which will be 8 if I max it out. You can also put a repair toolkit on, which is always good for anybody, or you could put a rainbow torpedo on too, because she has that nice torpedo skill too. So overall, Kitakaze is a very interesting ship, and her gears are very interesting as well. Now the other exception to the destroyers is Shirakami Fubuki from the HoloLive collaboration. She is the only destroyer with an aviation stat, as you can see, and dive bombers. She is a complete hybrid between the two destroyer classes, being firepower and torpedo focused. This is because she has a very, very good torpedo stat, but her yellow skill right here actually increases her firepower and torpedoes, meaning that she will be able to deal DPS through both her main gun and her torpedoes. So for her main gun, since she can do decent DPS through it, you would want a good firepower gun, either the Russian or Italian gun once again, if you have it. So this one, or not this one, this Russian one, or the Italian one. And if you don't have that, you can always go with the twin 127mm. If you do not have those other two event ones. Now torpedoes don't really matter too much, you can go and put any of them on and they will all be fine. If they're gold, obviously use them instead. If they are gold, or if they are purple, try and get a gold one. Now definitely you would want the SB2C Helldiver for the maximum damage slot for her dive bomber. And for aux gears, you can go and hit her with, well, don't hit her please. She's a very cute fox lolly. Well, she's not even a lolly, she's just a very cute fox. Don't hit her. You would want this team emblem from the same HoloLive event. This boosts up her damage even more by 3%. And the last slot is up to you again. You can put on a repair toolkit. This weird advanced boiler is here for no reason. You can put a repair toolkit on, or you could put a rainbow torpedo on because she has both good torpedo and she has good firepower as well. Now with those two lengthy exceptions covered, this marks the end of the Destroyer's equipment guide. Phew, that was a long video. Now due to the sheer amount of information in this one, it may be uploaded a bit late. Now as always, if you found this information helpful, consider dropping a like or consider subscribing. It encourages me to upload videos and tells me what stuff you guys are interested in. Don't forget to press the bell for future uploads as well. Now feel free to leave a comment if you have any questions from this video that need to be answered, or if you have any questions about the world in general once again. I'll try my best to reply. If you have any suggestions for a future video, leave a comment for that too. Now, the next video will probably be either discussing some good anime recommendations, or the final equipment guide for the submarines. With all of that being said, have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you guys, bye!